Hello and welcome to an episode of the Best Automatic. I'm your host, Captain Gorgeous.
And I'm your host, Captain Know-It-All. And I'm your host, Captain Pervert.
Now, on our previous episode, that somebody wasn't happy that we, in the whole wide world, one person in the whole entire world, wasn't happy and because saying that the Best Automatic has forgotten to do certain things. Well, we did do our challenge. What else could we have forgotten to do?
Well, it was actually obvious what we have actually forgotten to do. Yes, we have sort of neglected to do the Best Automatic test track, because you'd be wanting to know what is going to be the fastest vehicles.
So that was meaning that we had to go out and let our not so tame racing driver out of its own little house. Well, a portaloo out a door. So we let it loose, but we didn't really want to,
because we do have another driver. Now our little driver does like them lady revenge movies, and we all know there's a lot of these very popular lady revenge movies, these men revenge movies, but there's a lot of lady ones as well. But we're talking about the most popular one of all. Yes, the one and only
Sweet Revenge.
You didn't have to interrupt.
Oh, never mind, get on with it.
Well, I am. Now, we all know that we have our not-so-tame racing driver what used to always get money for us on this classic game GTA 5 by us not having the expense of
getting shark cards, as you well know.
So, obviously, we've got this lady driver, because obviously, you know, with certain pink cars and convertibles and all that lot.
If you've been watching our episodes, you may know what we've been trying to do.
Yeah, we're trying to worm around with with ladies, because obviously back in the old days, GTA 5 was completely different. Discrimination, what happened to lady online players, was a disgrace, especially when they went online and they got insulted by young little children, boys want it mostly.
Well, yes,
saying disgusting things or stammer. The point is, yeah.
Well, the thing is, we had incorporated a lady team racing driver, and you two are just babbling on, aren't you?
Well, yeah,
because it is a very delicate situation.
Well, obviously, in the game, there isn't certain vehicles you may want, like our lady might want.
Well, she does have her eye on a certain car, but it's like in the film Sweet Revenge.
Yeah, but they might not know what the film is about, do they?
Well, obviously, if you watched the trailer, wouldn't you?
Well, why don't you put it on?
She's Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Barbara Chapman.
She's Barbara.
Anything you say.
She's Verla.
Quick, call me Verla, huh?
She's a liar.
You want the facts?
She's a con artist.
They steal a Porsche and they sell it. They steal it back again. And they sell it and they steal it and they sell it and they steal it and they sell it and they steal it.
She's a shoplifter.
You know perfectly well that a booster box is premeditation. That's intent to steal. That's a felony.
Not for me. You're the one that told me.
And a car thief.
Say one thing for these VWs. It's sure so quick.
There's never been a girl so good at being so bad.
What is this, a bust?
No, that's the wrong office. The city pays me to defend you. They pay everybody else to arrest you. Go on the curb.
Yes, sir.
And now she's ready for Sweet Revenge.
You better cool it, you hear? You're gonna get busted for sure.
Starring Stockard Channing, Sam Waterston, and Franklin A.J.
Got to keep my baby looking good.
It's the story of a little lady with a knack for getting into big trouble. She's young, sweet, and lovable.
Listen, you little squirt.
The kind of girl who'll steal your heart
You can count on Dandy.
and then steal your car.
Stay straight, man. Wait a minute.
She has everything a girl could want,
It's sold.
except a Dino Ferrari.
It's the best. So bad. I'm gonna steal it. No, you can't steal a Dino Ferrari. It's a limited production car, easy to trace.
And all she has to do to get it is steal a Volkswagen,
What is the best way to steal a car?
Have a key.
a Cadillac,
Sweet revenge, yeah.
a Mercedes,
Thank you. Stealing, dealing's getting to be like everything else.
and the same Porsche 4 times.
Used to be an art.
It's a big job for a little girl, but she'll get by with a little help from her friends
Some car thief always needs a ride. Can you dig it?
and a taste of sweet revenge.
So you'd be thinking that is quite an interesting movie, like the movie I've been watching as well.
What are you doing?
So if you're not too sure what that movie was about, it's obviously, if you've been watching our episodes, that you will know that I am trying to lose my James Bond virginity.
What? No, you can't just be changing the subject. We might be talking about our lady, not so tame racing driver's car she wants.
So what car does she want then? I mean, it's something expensive.
Well, obviously she wants something really good to compete against the not so tame racing driver we have. Because obviously, we are meant to be, we've been neglecting about, the test track.
You do know times have moved on, people are playing GTA 6 and that's our old test track.
Well, yeah, it's a different video game, but our humble beginnings, we didn't have that technology in our days, did we?
When the first Best Automatic was out, yes.
We had to do things sort of real.
I mean, we didn't have it properly real, did we? It's not like we could afford, like, fancy cars like people expect.
Well, yeah, it's not like we can go out in the humble days and go out and buy a willy-nilly Ferrari or all, is it?
Is that what she's wanting?
No, she has to go for, a cut and shop job,
What?
Yeah, one of the famous, cars what have been,
You mean like some car what's been having other bits of other cars in it?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean...
yeah, another very famous car.
Well, interesting, but I would like to get on my project of talking about James Bond, me watching the movie.
Well, you can't just change the subject all of a sudden.
I already have.
Ken really doesn't mind you earning a little money on the side, Jordan.
I'm gonna say it again. Why is it in black and white?
Like, we've been trying to explain that already by showing you history stuff about, vehicles and stuff and that, haven't we? Well, yeah, we can carry on so he might get it sunk in his head. Famous cars and stuff we just briefly mentioned.
Alright.
Enzo Ferrari was born in Modena on February the 18th, 1898.
So we're doing the history about Ferrari then?
Well, yeah, and obviously you get the vibe that was done in the old days, don't you? Before there was even colour cameras.
Well, yeah.
Well, do you get that old-fashioned vibe?
15 kilometres from Modena, along the road leading up to the hills of Abertoni, lies Maranello, a small town of around 14,000 inhabitants. To millions of motor racing fans, it is a place which immediately conjures up the name of Enzo Ferrari, a legend within the motor industry.
But that was in colour!
Oh no, Dad!
Well, why are you doing that for?
Well, obviously, because you get the nostalgia of it, right? From the next bit. That was in black and white.
Well, you didn't give me fair warning, did you?
Why would I?
In the apartment above his father's engineering works. At the age of 10, he accompanied his dad to an early race on the Via Emilia, giving him a youthful taste for speed.
Right, so now it's back in black and white talking about Enzo Ferrari's history, about him being a little kid.
Well, yes, and it's in black and white, isn't it?
Right, but what's that got to do with James Bond?
Well, you're watching it in black and white, aren't we? And you keep complaining it's trying to talk about his past, isn't it?
Well, yes, but why in black and white for?
You'd just prefer it if it wasn't selling secrets.
So who's that guy sat down then?
Well, that's James Bond, you idiot.
Well, I didn't know that, do I?
Well, you should know who Daniel Craig is.
I know who he is, he was in Tomb Raider, but he does sound different.
Well, obviously.
But I didn't know, it's not like it's giving me any information. The humble beginning of the movie, it comes up with credits.
Well, he hasn't done the gun barrel scene, because it's not in this one. Well, there is a gun barrel scene, but...
What are you on about?
Oh, bloody hell, this is going to be bloody hard work.
In 1919, he went to work for CMN in Milan, operating as a quality controller within a truck factory.
Well, it's not my fault, I don't know, do I?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm trying to help you, but you're watching the wrong James Bond though, aren't you? Look, it doesn't matter, our producers want us to carry on talking some history about our very tame racing driver, what wants revenge against our not so tame racing driver on the best automatic test track. And that's why we're going through the certain vehicles of what she wants on the game before, you know, well...
His ardent dream, however, was to become a racing driver.
Yeah, but I still don't understand why it's all in black and white and all that lot, and now he's confusing me about gun barrels and all that lot. What the hell is he on about?
Look, the thing is though, I need to get on, and all of us, to what the producers want us to explain about our not so tame racing drivers. So let's talk about what happened in the past with our best automatic test track.
On October the 5th that year, he contested the Parma to Poggio di Bercetto hill climb in the CMN.
Sorry about that, everyone. That I actually put the wrong clip on. This is the one we needed. So yes, as we see, Ms. Takeaway is having her first attempt on the best automatic test track in the most famous car of the Sultan. Yeah, and on the game, right, you can easily get this totally free, right, because you can just steal it from the screen.
Well, yeah, but that's a bit of a bad example when you're telling people. So, we're going to comment about how her driving is for her very first time on this track, and as you can see, it is practically
off-roading, or it's a dirt track with horrible bends and all that lot. Obviously, you know, with another famous car problem, they name their bends and stuff, and obviously, you know, we've called this one Damnation Alley or something, wasn't it? Or Damnation Alley. Bit something like the movie, wasn't it? So, yeah, a bit pathetic, well, really, that. Well, yeah, I know, I can't help it, that, you know, and what's this one? Bell End Corner or Banana Bend or something. I mean, we have been trying to think of names. I mean, they've been going for years with somebody comments and says, like, why don't you name it that bend? But this is a tricky bit. This is what throws our cars off, obviously, that bit. But she managed to do it nearly under a minute. Well, 5 seconds more and it would have been just bang on a minute. But well, hopefully them two are going to achieve that on our best automatic test track, that to do it under a minute. So we've got to see what the GIMP is going to do in its own little car.
The factory having diversified from its tractor building origins.
So a little bit more there for you. So going with our not so tame racing driver, if you're not too familiar, it's the one dressed in rubber, that it is driving the classic TV series, as well class as the Miami Vice Ferrari Testarossa, and yeah, it's on our test track. But will it be our Miss Takeaway?
Moving to Alfa Romeo in 1920, he was placed in no fewer than 20 races.
So we're leaving it with Spence now, with our lady comeback, because obviously we are going to build it up. What vehicle she might be tempting to do the best automatic test track? Well, it's obviously, isn't it? Surely, you know.
It's hinting it's a Ferrari, isn't it? I wonder if James Bond drives a Ferrari.
You what?
Yeah. So let's check out on Bond. So the expense is building up, and wow, it's going to get exciting.
Well, you do know that James Bond does kill ladies for driving Ferraris.
You what?
Yeah.
Anyhow, which one's Bond again?
What do you mean? The one what sat down?
We're both sat down now.
The theatrics are supposed to scare me. You have the wrong man, Bond.
Oh, you're right. It is Daniel Craig what's playing James Bond.
Already told you that.
I'm quite still surprised that James Bond kills ladies because they drive Ferraris.
In Maranello, everything brings to mind motor racing and engines, even though the grand old man of motor racing died in August 1988. The street names are no exception, being dedicated to Enzo Ferrari's son Dino, and to some of the marque's most famous drivers, such as Villeneuve, Ascari, Musso and Nuvolari.
Well, that is quite interesting, seeing that all about Ferrari and knowing about James Bond wanting to kill people driving Ferraris.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, I didn't realise that Daniel Craig wanted to play Bond.
We did put them interviews on for you, didn't we?
Well, yeah.
As a kid, yeah. But that was being James Bond, that was something else. That was fantasy.
Well, it is a strange fantasy thinking you had James Bond killing people just because they drive Ferraris. I mean, that's just odd. You didn't have that in the book.
Yeah, I must say I'm sure when I was bent. She just had a double O.
See, that's why we keep talking about having things in the past. They're all shown in black and white, and that's what we're trying to get at.
Right, but it's different in the book because he's talking like demons and stuff and that.
You what?
He grinned maliciously. Bond ignored him. Now, in order to tell the difference between good and evil, we have manufactured two images representing the extremes, representing the deepest black and the purest white, and we call them God and the Devil. But in doing so, we have cheated a bit. God is a clear image. You can see every hair on his beard. But the Devil? What does he look like? Bond looked triumphantly at Mathis. Mathis laughed ironically. A woman? It's all very fine, said Bond, but I've been thinking about these things and I'm wondering whose side I ought to be on. I'm getting very sorry for the Devil and his disciples, such as the good Le Chiffre. The Devil has a rotten time, and I always like to be on the side of the underdog. We don't give the poor chap a chance. There's a good book about goodness and how to be good and so forth, but there's no evil book about evil and how to be bad. The Devil has no prophets to write his 10 Commandments, and no team of authors to write his biography. His case has gone completely by default. We know nothing about him but a lot of fairy stories from our parents and schoolmasters. He has no book from which we can learn the nature of evil in all its forms, with parables about evil people, proverbs about evil people, folklore about evil people. All we have is the living example of the people who are least good, or our own intuition. So, continued Bond, warming to his argument, Le Chiffre was serving a wonderful purpose, a really vital purpose, perhaps the best and highest purpose of all. By his evil existence, which foolishly I have helped to destroy, he was creating a norm of badness by which, and by which alone, an opposite norm of goodness could exist. We were privileged in our short knowledge of him to see and estimate his wickedness, and we emerged from the acquaintanceship better and more virtuous men.
I didn't hear anything about demons in that bit.
Well, it may be about right and wrong and all that lot, but yeah, there's a devil and God and all that lot.
Right, you're making too much of that story, surely.
Well, listen to a bit more of it and you'll understand a bit more.
When I was being beaten up, he said, I suddenly liked the idea of being alive. Before Le Chiffre began, he used a phrase which stuck in my mind, playing Red Indians. He said that's what I had been doing. Well, I suddenly thought he might be right. You see, he said, still looking down at his bandages, when one's young, it seems very easy to distinguish between right and wrong, but as one gets older, it becomes more difficult. At school, it's easy to pick out one's own villains and heroes, and one grows up wanting to be a hero and kill the villains. He looked obstinately at Mathis. Well, in the last few years, I've killed 2 villains. The first was in New York, a Japanese cipher expert cracking our codes on the 36th floor of the RCA building in the Rockefeller Center, where the Japs had their consulate. I took a room on the 40th floor of the next-door skyscraper, and I could look across the street into his room and see him working. Then I got a colleague from our organization in New York and a couple of Remington 30-30s with telescopic sights and silencers. We smuggled them up to my room and sat for days waiting for our chance. He shot at the man a second before me. His job was only to blast a hole through the windows so that I could shoot the Jap through it. They have tough windows at the Rockefeller Center to keep the noise out. It worked very well. As I expected, his bullet got deflected by the glass and went God knows where. But I shot immediately after him through the hole he had made. I got the Jap in the mouth as he turned to gape at the broken window. Bond smoked for a minute. It was a pretty sound job. Nice and clean, too. 300 yards away, no personal contact. The next time in Stockholm wasn't so pretty. I had to kill a Norwegian who was doubling against us for the Germans. He'd managed to get 2 of our men captured, probably bumped off, for all I know. For various reasons, it had to be an absolutely silent job. I chose the bedroom of his flat, and a knife. And, well, he just didn't die very quickly. For those 2 jobs, I was awarded a 00 number in the service. Felt pretty clever and got a reputation for being good and tough. A 00 number in our service means you've had to kill a chap in cold blood in the course of some job. Now, he looked up again at Mathis. That's all very fine. The hero kills 2 villains. But when the hero, Le Chiffre, starts to kill the villain, Bond, and the villain, Bond, knows he isn't a villain at all, you see the other side of the medal. The villains and heroes get all mixed up. And of course, he added, as Mathis started to expostulate, patriotism comes along and makes it seem fairly all right. But this country right or wrong business is getting a little out of date. Today we're fighting communism. Okay. If I'd been alive 50 years ago, the brand of conservatism we have today would have been damn near called communism, and we should have been told to go and fight that. History is moving pretty quickly these days, and the heroes and villains keep on changing parts.
So, that might start making a little bit sense, but now I'm more baffled about, that MI6 issues people to have gadget cars to go willy-nilly killing people in Ferraris, especially ladies.
Well, that's what he does. No, he doesn't. I've been listening to you two, and I know where he's going with this weirdness, you, Captain Pervert. What? Well, you're making it really confusing. What do you mean? Well, you're on about him murdering people because they're driving Ferraris, and we're on the subject about Ferraris.
So he doesn't kill people driving Ferraris?
Well, yeah, answer that then. What? Well, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. He kills her in the end of the movie, right? He gets a bit of rope, and he kills her by using a tree.
Right, does he hang her or something?
Well, he sort of squeezes her to death.
How does he do that?
Well, he needs assistance with a helicopter.
It sounds very complicated, just have to murder somebody.
Well, yeah, but Balma's improvise, even he doesn't get gadgets to kill people as well. Oh my gosh, this is even more confusing. Well, now...
Yeah, now I'm thinking about, Bond just going around, his license to kill. He can kill anybody.
Well, he does, near enough. I mean, it's like that Goldfinger, right? When she, because she wants to overtake him, and I think with the Ferrari, she wants to overtake him, so you don't like ladies overtaking him when he's driving. But that's like really breaking the law, isn't it? Well, he's MI6, agent, so he's entitled to do that. That's what it means, having a license to kill.
Don't actually explain that like that in the book.
You're all at the humble beginnings, mate, that's why.
Yeah, I know I'm at the humble beginnings, so that's why I need to start watching a lot more of it now on the Bets Automatic.
Well, you still have to make room for, obviously, we are lady driver, because she's going to be coming on with a mysterious car to compete against the king.
Well, I already know what she's driving, be a Ferrari.
Narvin, are you sure about that?
Look, we won't pay attention about Bond, it's on a big climax thing anyhow.
Yeah!
You made me so sure when I was bent. She just sent a double O.
I understand the double O bit, but I don't understand why it's in black and white.
Oh, we've already been here trying to explain all this. Now, this is a good opportunity to put about Ferrari. What's that?
This is the Cavallino restaurant, directly opposite the factory gates. For many decades it enjoyed the patronage of Il Commendatore, as Enzo Ferrari was popularly known, although he disliked the nickname, and his closest associates.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that about Ferrari, but I'm really interested to want to know about what's happening in James Bond.
Yeah, but don't start whinging it's in black and white.
I'll try not to.
Benefits being section cheap. I never have been permitted a double O status.
Yes, lads, very interesting seeing Bond, but we all have to get back with Ferrari, because obviously that's what our producers want us to do. I mean, the producers have asked you to do it. Well, yeah, they have, but obviously, yeah, we want to talk about the subject about Ferrari.
Well, yeah, but I like to know about Bond, especially that James Bond's going around killing people because they're driving Ferraris.
That's why we need to know a little bit more about Ferrari, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it makes sense.
Some 100 metres from the factory nestles the renowned motorsports department, and it's from here that technicians and mechanics set off to look after Maranello's most potent products on the circuits of the world. Every day, 200 people, most of them locally based, pass through these gates in order to design and build the world's most famous sports and racing cars. Each of them is proud of their association, and each approaches their task with painstaking care.
Captain Know-It-All, I am interested about the Ferrari, but I am so eager to know what's happening in Bond as well. So please, can I see a bit more of Bond, please?
Well, I suppose, yeah, you can get a little bit bored watching Ferrari, but it is vital. We need to get on with our challenge.
No. Your file shows no kills, and it takes 2.
Blinking heck, what's going on now? Now it's just gone weird. He's fighting in a toilet. What's happened?
Well, it's talking about the past.
What? Well, it's still in black and white. I don't get that.
Oh, bleeding heck, he's not going to understand what he's talking about the past. I thought you were going through the book, you should know. Yeah, oh mate, the bloody, it's bloody hard work. Well, we should have stuck with Ferrari. Oh yeah, well you were bloody Ferrari issues, that's what's making it more bloody complicated. And no, you weren't to stick bloody package on. Well obviously, we can't have our program just going on forever. I mean, there was a most popular car program, what had the news, things about motors, they had their Stig going around the test track, they were promoting vehicles, they had special guest stars, and they all did this in a less than an hour program, and they always stuck to that routine. Ours is just totally all over the place.
Well, why are you looking all nasty at me for?
Well, because you're dragging it out because of Bond. Well, that isn't his fault. The producers have told him to do that, haven't they? Well, yeah, but obviously, you know, it's just Ferrari. Why are you getting at that bloody Ferrari? She might be driving a Ferrari. Well, not exactly. She's driving something to do with Ferrari.
On the ground floor is the office used by Enzo Ferrari himself, right through until the end of his life. For years, the most important decisions were taken within these walls. To have an audience in this particular room was always a privilege, open only to a precious few.
Oh, I've got it now.
Oh, have you now? You sassed it about the fight in the toilet.
No, not Bond. No, it was on about Top Gear, weren't you?
Yes, I did mention Top Gear, yeah.
So, she's driving a Ferrari, isn't she?
No, I'm giving you clues.
The racing department, where entry is normally out of the question, opens its doors only for the press presentation of new models. This part of the factory is immediately adjacent to Fiorano, Ferrari's superbly equipped private test facility, which was christened by Niki Lauda in the autumn of 1973.
So now we're just going to learn about Ferrari.
Well, you need to know about Ferrari, don't you?
Oh yeah, with Bond, I mean, a lot know about Bond as well, but obviously, yeah, he kills ladies because they're driving Ferraris.
Yeah, and you need to know about the lady Miss Anatop, you see.
Right, Anatop or something.
Yeah, that what put me off sex with women there, because women can kill you just with their thighs, you know. That's why the ladies must be getting exercise when they cross their legs and that.
Crossing their legs?
Yeah, can kill a man. What are you on about? Come on. GoldenEye, yes, I do know it, yeah. And she kills men. Yeah, men with her thighs.
Is that the one where you said Bond that kills her with a helicopter and a tree and a piece of rope?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she drives a Ferrari.
Right.
Can we get on the subject about Ferrari?
Oh, he's so keen, isn't he?
Ferrari's roots in Maranello date back to 1943, when Il Commendatore moved his business from Modena to new premises built on a plot of land he already owned. Initially, machine tool components formed the bulk of Ferrari's output. Only at the end of the Second World War did the first cars see the light of day. 3 cars were built in 1947, and 5 were produced the following year. Thereafter, productivity increased by the year, but the 1000th Ferrari wasn't constructed until the late 1950s. 30 years later, the day after Enzo Ferrari's death, the Maranello Public Relations Department issued a press release commemorating the arrival of the 50,000th Ferrari. In all, there have been over 200 different Ferrari models, each a prestigious and expensive status symbol, from the 166mm in 1949 to the 250 GTO of the early 60s, and from the Testarossa to the F40.
So you're going to be showing clips of Ferrari all through this episode, are you?
Well, no, we've got our challenge to do, and our Miss Takeaway is going to be driving her car around the best automatic test track. Now, if this was an episode of Top Gear, they'd be on their special guest star right now.
Right, can't remember that.
Oh, bloody hell, I'll show you a clip.
Now, let's talk about rock stars. Most of them today wouldn't know a good car if it offered to pleasure them in the back of a limo. All they want really is to get invited on Anton Lard and be picked up in a sponsored Citroen. They're pathetic. But my guest tonight, he's a proper rock star. You gave him a car like this, he'd probably lose it or drive it into his moat. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamiroquai frontman, JK!
How are you? I'm very well.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Actually, you are quite a car fan, aren't you?
Just a bit.
Really serious. Because
Yeah.
we were going through the office the other day and I was working on my perfect garage, and it would have a Mercedes Pullman, Ferrari 550, Lamborghini Miura, SV.
Of course.
You got any of those?
Yeah. All of them.
And what else?
There's a 360 Spider, which is outside, DB5, a Concourse 2002 Turbo, 74.
That one actually interests me.
The
What
little
have you
turbo.
got? A 2002?
I call it, because I've always had 2002s. I started off, my first car was a 1602, which is a little underpowered job.
Well, your very first ever
My very ever first car, which I bought off two old ladies, with some letters with it. They said, we did 1,500 miles in it this year. You know, when I did 1,500 miles a week, you know. And that was a 72 car, had all the original stickers and everything. And then I went up to TIs, Touring International, Touring Injection Internationals. Then I had a dog of a turbo, because some of them are real dogs. I only did about 1,572 of them. And now I've got a Concourse ex-BMW Car Club winner. So.
Oh, really good one. Because you're more of a fan of like the 3-litre CSLs.
I used to have an original Batmobile, yeah.
Oh, really? A 3.2?
I had a 3.2 CSL, yeah.
See, how boring can we get on numbers
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Where did it all come from, your love of cars?
Well, my mum had a Triumph Herald 1360 convertible.
Best turning circle of any car. Well, I was something in its favour.
Yeah, no, it was, I spent all my life on the road. And you know, when you're in the back, I mean, in those days, they didn't really, you know, not everything had a motorway. And, you know, I spent my whole time in the back of the car and just looking at a car. I mean, I knew every car on the road, you know.
This is when you were a kid?
That was when I was tiny, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I was about 4 and 5. I knew every car on the road, everything.
Because your mum was
I mean, now I don't know anything because they all look the same.
Your mum was an entertainer as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, mum's a singer. So there's a lot of miles all the time.
Anyway, listen, we've got a little game.
Yes.
I haven't seen this, so because I'm going to play it with you. Because I could say Maserati before I could say Mummy.
Right.
But we're going to put some pictures of bits of cars on the screen.
Oh, I like these games.
And all join in, okay?
I love these games.
We'll see if we can see what sort of car it is,
Because I'm such a sucker for this. I sit and watch old 70s movies like the Sweeney. Go, oh, look.
Okay, then, here's one for you. What's that?
That's part of a Ferrari Enzo.
It is. It's the rear wing on a Ferrari Enzo. We're right? Yes?
Thank you.
Yes, you can speak. Ferrari Enzo. Yeah, all right, 1-0 to you. Go on then.
Coming soon at a highway near you. I've got to have it.
Anything why?
Why?
It's not a pretty car.
It's a stunning looking thing. You know why? I mean, because you know, there's going to come a day they won't make cars like that anymore.
So let's not even go there. Let's bring up the next one. What is it? Zzz.
It's a Mini, the new Mini.
If that is... He's so good at this.
Thank you. I told you I like this game. You didn't believe me, did you?
No. Do you know something really funny? Absolutely true. We didn't tell you we were going to do this. It's not prepared. No. I didn't know we were going to do this. Come on, let's have another one.
Oh, that could be lots of things.
It's a Golf.
Oh, my word.
Actually, that's not a Golf.
It's not a Golf.
What is it? A what? If that's a Vectra, I said the word. I still don't know. It is, it's a Vectra! That is a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this car is a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's not really a phenomenon, is it? I mean,
it's rubbish. It's not as bad as the other one, it's just rubbish. Anyway, last one, I'm on 0, which means we will be swapping jobs. Having to swap cars, houses, and have your Enzo.
And have the Enzo.
And have your house with a moat.
And have a moat, which you too can drive your G-Wagon into.
Have you driven your car? You have driven a car into a moat?
I did, yeah. I got it.
Oh, this is fantastic. Well done.
I came around the corner in the G-Wagon and I said to the two guys I was taking around the land, it's 80 acres, you know, and I started off really nicely and I said, well, you want to go? And he said, no, it's all right, you know the land. I mean, famous last words, you know the land, it's all right, I'll let you do it. Came around the corner, 60, G-Wagon, a big old thumping great Vermax G500. And I looked, 60, oh dear, understand, look,
Splosh.
Bank, river, And the guy looked round at me, just went, what are you doing? And then I looked round again, and then the other one went in the back, big building, went, we're sinking. and that was that, you know what I mean? I was like...
Let's have a look at this picture. That's just a black hole.
What's that?
What's that there?
Well, I don't know, I'm trying to work this out. Can we...
Does anyone here You know, this is Top Gear. They all come to a gardening programme. What is it?
Wait, what's
Anyone
that?
will go like, what?
Well,
What? Lamborghini what?
Murcielago. I must say, that did cross my mind. It's something to do with the events that come up, isn't it?
What, the slidey things? Can you pull back? Let's have a look.
Oh,
Stop.
yeah, all right, yeah. Clear as day. There's that little... There you go.
Clear as day what?
Murcielago, yeah.
Oh, God.
I tell you what, he did well, though, with the little square.
I'm impressed by that. It's a great car.
Don't show us up next time, yeah?
Well done, you. Have you driven one?
No, I haven't yet.
Because you are a fairly wicked driver.
You know, because of the work, you know, the type of job I do, which I want to get rid of and swap for this one now. I'm going to swap it for your job.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I'll swap with you anytime.
You wouldn't like it, I can assure you. But, you know...
No, your fans wouldn't like it.
No, yeah, that's true. No, they wouldn't like it. Yeah. Who's that croaking? You know, I don't get as much track time as I'd like to, you know, and I mean...
What's the fastest you've ever been, then?
I don't like to say this because everybody thinks I'm just some thug on the road, but I did do Rome to Calais in 13 hours and hit 190, which was
That's
interesting.
really good, actually. Did the mental arithmetic there.
Rome to Calais.
That's really properly fast.
The needle didn't drop below 140, really.
Even in the petrol stations.
Yeah. And the petrol stations.
I presume you visited a few.
I visited a few. Yeah. Well, it's always that balance, isn't it? Do I go a bit slower and not visit so many?
No, go faster.
And then you wonder why that bloke in the Morris Minor is ahead of you still. You know? You know, because the other thing is that every petrol station you stop in Europe, you go, oh, I'll have that cuddly toy, and there's an interesting interior light thing on the thing, and I'll have one of those, and even though I've got 10 of them at home and something to stick on the window and all this rubbish.
Anyway, of course, as you know, you haven't just come down here to chat and play silly kids' games.
No.
Reason that we have a celebrity guest every week is so that they go out and play star in a reasonably priced car. They drive round our track in our Suzuki Liana. Now, you did that earlier today, yes?
I did.
Tell you something quite funny. We had Harry Enfield here last week. He drove the car in standard tune. Heard it was JK, we put a roll cage in it. We're going to be saying later on how you did.
Okay.
Actually, have you driven the RS Focus?
I have. I was given one just last week, yes.
Did you like it?
I can't say I did like it much.
Really?
No.
You found all that...
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was like, there he goes. There he goes again.
Absolutely terrifying.
It's quite, you know, I mean, nicely put together. Nice thing. Looks nice. The wheels.
It's RSs. We're going to get on and talk a bit more about RSs. We were talking about them earlier, because what interests me, by putting those big engines in like normal family cars, it was like when Marks and Spencer started selling pumpkin and ricotta soup. You could go in there and think, I can afford this exotic food, that's great, I can do it. And that's what it was like with RSs. If you think about it, whenever a TV producer wants to sort of portray his detective as soft and gentle, like Bergerac gets that old Triumph and Morse gets the Jag. But then when he wants him to be a hard, gritty, you know, tough guy.
Professionals type.
Yeah, you get the professionals and you get Spender. The thing about the professionals is that I still maintain, even now, however many years down the line, it still has an effect. If you put someone in an RS Ford, horns grow out of that. Look, I tell you what happened, okay? All these RS people, they came down here this morning. We said, we're going to have a drive around the track if you like. This is their idea of a drive around the track.
Oh, I got into that.
Well, I'll play you some more Top Gear, but obviously I want you to sort of guess what car she might be driving on our best automatic test track.
Well, I keep saying a Ferrari, keep showing Ferrari clips.
Well, I'll show you a bit more and hopefully you might get the idea what she might be driving.
As far as motorsport is concerned, there have been over 5,000 overall victories, around 30 world titles, over 100 Formula One Grand Prix successes, and dozens of triumphs in the Mille Miglia, Le Mans 24 Hours, and the Targa Florio.
So, have you figured it out yet? Well, I ain't.
Well, he's asking me really, because obviously he was asking me, so, well, I'm seeing a lot of car images.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll put Top Gear, another clip on for you.
Right.
This is the one we were moaning about the challenge and all that. Look, now he's getting into time, Bob, you know, Top Gear images. Well, yeah, and then it'll hype it up for her introduction for her doing the challenge in her car. Okay.
This is a Stratos. It had a 2.4-litre Ferrari V6 mounted in the middle. It was Italian. It was styled by Bertoni. And it was completely impractical. It therefore ticked all the supercar boxes. But unlike any other supercar before or since, it wasn't designed to be parked in Monte Carlo. It was designed to get there like this. Its absurdly short wheelbase meant it was agile, and the Ferrari power meant it was fast. So fast that it won the World Rally Championship 3 times. And joy of joys, they made 500 Stratoses for people to buy. That's the battery.
Yes.
Now the alternator has gone.
But it's not going to be
That
charged.
noise we heard, which you say was unburned fuel, wasn't.
It was banging and crackling as though it was.
You just said it was unburned
It was
fuel.
unburnt
It
fuel.
wasn't. It was
It
more
was.
the death rattle of a Ferrari engine.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It was unburnt
It was.
fuel, probably.
Well,
There's nothing coming out of it, so it's not...
if you make that go on the battery terminals.
Hold on.
Right, ready?
No.
Ready?
No.
Now?
Yes.
That's just being fully Italian. There are faults with it, but you look at it and there just sort of aren't.
There's nothing wrong with that. Well, you know what? We're not in it. We're not moving in it, but I'm still enjoying it. It's beautiful.
So, I bet you got a really big clue now, haven't you?
What clue?
Well, what she might be driving now.
Well, yeah, I think I have, yeah.
It was obvious she's going to be driving a Ferrari, isn't she?
In each era, some of the sport's greatest drivers have brought success to the prancing horse. From Ascari to Fangio, from Bandini to Lauda, from Regazzoni to Villeneuve. Each of them has helped to create the myth of Ferrari, and some of them have paid the ultimate price.
So, I'm wondering if you're going to actually guess this vehicle then.
Well, I'm thinking, but I'm still going to say it. It's Ferrari, isn't it?
Well, it is to do with something with Ferrari, but it's not a Ferrari. What's she going to drive? Oh, right, so it's a different car.
Enzo Ferrari was born in Modena on February the 18th, 1898, in the apartment above his father's engineering works. At the age of 10, he accompanied his dad to an early race on the Via Emilia, giving him a youthful taste for speed. In 1919, he went to work for CMN in Milan, operating as a quality controller within a truck factory. His ardent dream, however, was to become a racing driver.
I'm sure I've seen that bit before.
Well, you have.
Well, why are you showing it again?
Well, it's to remind you, to give you a clue what vehicle she might be driving. Well, yeah, what we don't know. We can't say Ferrari, because you're saying it's not.
On October the 5th that year, he contested the Parma to Poggio di Bercetto hill climb in this CMN, the factory having diversified from its tractor building origins. Moving to Alfa Romeo in 1920, he was placed in no fewer than 20 races. Of particular note was second places overall in the 1920 Targa Florio and the 1924 Coppa Acerbo, both of them being prestigious events. His companions at the time were Ugo Sivocci, Antonio Ascari and Giuseppe Campari. Years later, Ferrari made the proud boast that he'd finished every race he'd started. He gave up racing in 1931, just prior to becoming a father. Here, Ferrari sits on the right hand of a group which includes Professor Nicola Romeo, the founder of Alfa Romeo.
So you've figured it out now, won't you? No, we still haven't.
No.
Oh gosh. I can't believe that you never guessed it. What is it? Oh, it's the Lentistrados, innit? I forgot all about that on GTA.
Oh yeah, that little thing. Yeah, isn't that the one with the Ferrari engine?
Yeah, that's the one, the Ferrari Dino engine. You know, that's why it had a hint of the Sweet Revenge movie, and the Top Gears guys were driving one.
Well, it broke down, didn't it?
Well, yeah. So, she's gonna try to, embarrass the Gimp then, in the Lentistrados. Now that ain't a bad idea, yeah. Well, this is her first attempt practicing with it, so officially, this car should be good anyhow. Well, yeah, because she has been sort of like slowing down, but one thing about the car, it doesn't spin out as terrible like a lot of these vehicles do, especially when they hit that big jump there.
Well, yeah, and get round this bend, well, oh dear. She seems to slow down, oh god, and then it's very tight.
But this is the main challenge about this bit, is this hill, isn't it? You know, and you think, oh gosh, she's going to go out, but yeah, she's definitely slowed down there. It's that grass what's annoying. Oh my gosh, she spun out. Yeah, but she's got over the finishing line. So, yeah, the Sultan was quite impressive, and I would have thought that would have been a bit quicker than that. Well, it's still good. Well, yeah, let's see it on the scoreboard. So here's the scoreboard. As you can see, it came third, but hopefully our very tamed racing driver, she wants to attempt that again. Well, we've never done that before. Well, she thinks the car can do it. So, we're moving on to the challenge. Well, yeah, and it's interesting. What do you mean by that?
What was that about?
Well, it was a challenge. Yeah, but what was the challenge? Well, driving in a tunnel. Well, yes, but what was the challenge itself? Well, I got it stuck. Well, that ain't a challenge. Well, a bloody challenge how I got it out. Well, why didn't we see that? Well, we'll have to do that in the next one, the previous one, to keep you on a cliffhanger.
Why is that?
Well, technically, you can gather what happened.
What?
Well, it's the engine stuck. Now, oh, right. You destroyed another vehicle. Well, yes, obviously.
Like we did a lot on that driving on the most dangerous road, didn't we?
Yes, we did, didn't we?
So we're not going to do all that, are we, now, are we?
Well, no. So we'll give you a highlight of it, if they're not too sure.
There's only one person watching this, though.
Well, yes, but they might have forgotten what our dangerous road challenge was.
Listen.
So with that, I think we've covered everything. Yeah, so on that warm duvet, it's time to end the show. Bye.